Good morning and welcome. Thank you for taking the time this morning to be with us. I know this takes a great deal of effort to be up early in the morning, and we have a lot of staff here that are typically up pretty early, but not quite this early to make a presentation. I want to begin by thanking La Boulange for all they do at each one of these mornings with the mayor. They bring out all the food and the coffees and all the things that are important to start our morning here. You know, today we're going to highlight some projects that are capital projects. We're going to do a development update, new business update, and we'll have a speakers bureau with our partners here in the community. You know, this is my last morning with the mayor, and I've got to tell you, over this last year, we have talked about a lot of projects in town. We talked about our operating budget, and as you know, just as a recap, we balance our budgets here in Danville. We actually are proud of the fact that we have 40% reserves, and we spend less money than we take in. And that's an important message right there, because the town of Danville does business a little bit differently than the rest of this world. We've talked about capital improvement projects, and we will always invest in our downtown. That's where our monies go. We believe that it's valuable and it's important. We've talked about downtown upgrades. Once again, it may be a curse as well as a blessing. We have completed a lot of projects all in one small period of time, and we're seeing the effects of that right now. We'll talk a little bit about that today. Public safety, naturally, will always be our number one concern, whether it is fire or police, absolutely our number one concern, and that's where we're going to put our money. I want to thank a couple of people that are in the room today. Nat Roshanathan, our assistant to the town manager, puts these PowerPoint presentations together. You know, we stand up here as a council and we take a lot of credit for things in this town, but there are so many people that help support all the good work that we do in this town, and Nat is one of those people. If I'm at a 7 o'clock Rotary meeting, Nat's right there with me, and frankly, he's not a morning person. And a little grumpy sometimes, but he's there, and we put these projects together, and he's absolutely an absolute treasure in this town, that we're the go-to guy. And then naturally, I'd always be remiss. This year, at the end of the year, I'll probably get a book that has a lot of pictures of all the things that took place during the year. I've looked at previous books, and there's one person that's hardly ever in that book, and this year I've asked to be in a picture with them, and that's our own town manager, Joe Calabrigo. And the reason he's not in the picture is because he's a behind-the-scenes guy. He doesn't want to be in front of the mic, he doesn't want to be at the podium, but this is the reason the town of Danville balanced their budgets, has the police department that we have, has the downtown the way it looks. And it's important to recognize a guy like this, because a lot of us on this town council are doing good work because of Joe Calabrigo. So if you could help me acknowledge Joe Calabrigo right now, that's With that said, I'll just as my little short message here, there's a couple things in this town that we always do, and it's just a recap from previous mornings with the mayor. We will always protect our open space. That's what we do as a town council. We live on 12,000 acres here, and 42% of it is deed restricted, protected open space into perpetuity. You know, we'll always protect our downtown heritage resource projects. You know, the reason the downtown looks the way it does is because of all the protections that we put in place over the last 30 plus years. And naturally, you know, we believe in our downtown businesses, and I've said this message, and it's a pretty simple message. If they're successful, we're successful. And we want everyone in our downtown businesses to enjoy success. This morning we have some people in the audience I'd like to recognize. We have Patty Holt here from Discover Counseling, and I hope she's a partner in this community. Thank you, Patty, for being here today. We have Gail Larsons, who's a field rep for Joan Buchanan's office, and naturally we'll hear from her as well. We have Chief Paige Myers here today. Thank you for coming, with his two deputy chiefs, Lon Freres and Derek Krause. You know, thank you guys for being here this morning, and I think Chief will introduce them in a moment. We have Dale Price running for our fire board here. With it. Thank you. We have June Hannon, town treasurer extraordinaire. The list goes on and on with her. We have Matt Stamey from the fire board, and naturally we have our Chief Simpkins here, who does a lot of good work and has helped create Danville the safest community that we are, and the 6th safest city in California. Thank you. And naturally, our very own Candace Anderson, former mayor, now supervisor, and our very own Karen Stepper, former mayor. There's a lot of former mayors in this town. 3-term council member, and I have the pleasure of sitting next to her and Candace, and they're both very passionate, very gifted, very talented, very intelligent, and they're engaged 100% in the community, and they're very accessible people that they'll answer their cell phone, they're there for you when you need them. Last night, or night before last, we had the Tri-Valley Council meeting in town. Eric Swalwell, our congressman, was there. Mark DeSaulnier, our senator, was there. Joan Buchanan, our assembly member, were there. Candace Anderson, our supervisor, was there. And it's collaboration in the community. All 5 of the Tri-Valley mayors were there. And you know, that's why the Tri-Valley looks as well as it does, because we do work together. Marcia Harmon just walked in from Cottage Jewels. You know, and if we could just go around the room and quickly introduce yourself, that would be helpful here. And I'm sorry we started a little bit later this morning. If we could start here with our Chief Simpkins for self-introductions.
Morning, everybody. I'm Steve Simpkins, the police chief here in town.
Hi, I'm Scott Phillips, resident.
Scott, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Paige Meyer, Fire Chief, San Ramon Valley.
Derek Grouse, Deputy Chief, San Ramon Valley Fire Protection District.
Lon Ferris, Deputy Chief, San Ramon Valley Fire.
Both wanting to be chief one day, I'm sure.
Watch your back, babe.
Sorry, Chief.
Matt, see me in the middle of that conflict.
I'm Ed, just a citizen.
I'm sorry, what's your first name?
Ed.
Thank you, Ed. Thanks for coming today.
Tony Adamich, resident and owner of Consignment Tour.
I'm Gail Larson. I'm here on behalf of Assemblymember Joan Buchanan.
I'm Patty Hoyt. I'm the Alcohol Policy Coordinator at the Discovery Counseling, working to reduce underage drinking and prejudice in San Ramon Valley.
Wow. I'm Beatrice Bussman, resident and church secretary.
All right, Marcia Harmon, Cottage Jewel resident, Danville Area Chamber of Commerce, and Discover Danville Association.
Wow, thank you for coming.
Shelby McNamara, president, Danville Area Chamber of Commerce.
So, and I'll just stop it there for a moment. Shelby McNamara, our chamber president. Marcia Harmon, Discover Danville president. This is the reason the chamber and the downtown work so well together, because these 2 women not only are sitting side by side, but they get along, and when they get along, this community is a better place for it. So thank you. Yes, Ms. Ann.
I'm June Ransom Hannon, and I represent the Museum of San Ramon Valley, which is the little gem there on the corner of Railroad and Prospect. And I'm also representing the San Ramon Valley Republican Women. Both organizations are members of the Chambers of Commerce.
And president of the Toastmasters. And I'm critiqued after each one of these. And it's not pretty.
Karen Stepper, I'm town council, but I just wanted to do another shout out to our police and fire who help us recognize as well as be recognized at 9/11, and that'll be coming on your cable TV in the next few weeks, so watch for the ceremony if you missed it.
Good morning, I'm Dale Price. I'm a past president of the Chamber of Commerce, the Danville Chamber of Commerce, when president meant something different than it does now. Now it's the executive, then it was chairman. But, and I'm a candidate for the San Ramon Valley Fire Protection District board, as you mentioned. Thank you.
I'm Candace Anderson, county supervisor.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Calabrigo, Danville resident and Danville town manager.
Good morning, Nat Bruce-Nasathira, assistant to the town manager.
Good morning, everyone. Henry Perez Alonso, recreation services manager here at the town.
Good. Once again, thank you all for coming. You know, the town of Danville, on behalf of the town council, is very proud of all our accomplishments. You know, a lot of us came through a very difficult time. There were 6 years that property taxes were down, sales taxes were down, and we didn't cut services in this town. And the reason we didn't cut services is because we build our budgets on the lean years and not the big years. So when the economy does drop, we're not sitting there trying to scramble, trying to figure out how to pay our bills. And that's what's important about this town council. Very conservative, 1 brick at a time concept, but at the end of the day, we get things done. And that's what we're gonna look at today. You know, in the past, we've talked about projects that are ongoing. Today, we're gonna talk about projects that we've completed. Some of the things that we've already done that are in the history books that were good things. This project behind me, this has been on the books for 10 years. We had the money sitting or so well, I'm getting a look over here, so it's quite a bit less than 10 years. We- The Sound Wall at Crow Canyon Country Club. This covers a good deal of lineal footage, and we had the money from our SCC regional funds that we actually put aside, and we're able to build this wall here, and the Crow Canyon Country Club members are thrilled to have this. You know, Communitas Sahara, Sycamore Valley Road, we're continually doing sound wall maintenance there. We have a Sycamore Creek Trail that we just completed here on Sycamore Valley Road and the creek area. And then naturally, we just had the 680 sound walls, our auxiliary lane completed. You know, that was about an 18-month project or so. We're there. It's just about completed. We're excited on Camino Ramon that we have dedicated a great deal of funds to actually landscape that area there on Camino Ramon from Fostoria down to Sycamore Valley, and it's going to look incredible. But we're in the middle of a drought right now, and we need to be a little bit responsible. We will probably start planning that when the drought restrictions have been lifted. This is a project that we have been very proud of. As you know, we have hundreds of people that play bocce ball in this town. We have 4 bocce ball courts at Sycamore Valley. If I don't have my pointer, but the areas to the left are going to be the new bocce ball courts. And this is because of demand. So we heard the community say to us, we need more bocce ball courts. And most communities would say, we don't have the money to build it, we're not going to build it. We actually saved our money, and it's about $1.1 million that we actually saved to build this. And we're in the design phases right now. They're gonna include a group picnic area, additional picnic tables. You know, we're looking at starting this probably about the fall of 2015, and if naturally if we could start it a little bit earlier, that would be great. Osage Station, I have a slide on there, too. Osage Station Park. There is going to be a lot of changes there. There's 5 or 6 phases. We're in phase 1 right now. Phase 1 is a picnic and play area. It's a multi-phase project naturally, so we need to save our money for phases 2 through 6. They're going to include redesign of the ball fields, the soccer fields, you know, the snack shack. We're going to look at, we had a lot of responses from the community, hundreds of responses online. And we said, what should the theme of the kids' play area be? And they decided Old Town theme. So that includes, you know, trains. And let me just go down this list here. Custom train station, tot swings, a mining car, a wood barrel for climbers, sand play structure, climbing mounds, and a possible train tunnel slide. So, you know, our kids are important to us in this community. We're aging a little bit in this community, but my neighborhood has a whole new generation of strollers that are walking around the neighborhood. And it's great to see because I was that generation when I moved to Danville. I was 25 when I moved here, and I was that generation. So I understand some of their needs and some of the things that are important to them, and this is one of them. And Osage is a park that we're very proud of, and it's going to take on a whole new look here very shortly. Naturally, we're going to also add some barbecues, drinking fountains. We even have a drinking fountain for dogs in that park. So that's the level of detail that's the level that we play at here in Danville. The cost of that project is $1.45 million, and we actually saved that money once again to build this project. Park wayfinding and signage is under construction. You'll see it around town here. There are signs that we spend a great deal of time and effort to look at, create, and formulate this concept of directing people to the library, to the museum, to our downtown parking. Now we're looking at it at the parks, at Sycamore, Osage Station, Dabble Vista, to guide visitors to the bocce ball court, the tennis courts, the restrooms. And, you know, once again, it's the attention to details in Danville. And a lot of it is because right here, Joe Calabrigo and a council that believes that investing our money in this community is important. There's hardly a community that can talk about pavement management the way we do. We're going to spend just a little under $3 million this year and cover the McGee Ranch, Macaulay Road, St. Christopher Drive, Mustang Drive, Sycamore Valley, Communitas Sahara Parkway, and Cantata Circle. You know, we have, and these are extraordinary numbers. We're going to do 150,000 square feet of actual replacement of asphalt, and 1,100,000 square feet of resealing in this town. And we do that just about every year. We're gonna continually work on ADA ramps at our corners. We'll look at bulb outs on Railroad Avenue, which we'll talk about in a minute. And we are proud of the fact that we can actually spend $3 million when most communities are not even able to come up with $150,000. And the reason for that is we manage our money and we actually pay attention to the details. Railroad. Once again, I want to apologize to our downtown businesses because we threw a lot of projects on you all at one time. The good news is, when they're all done, the downtown area will look absolutely incredible. Railroad Avenue, we are looking at undergrounding utility poles, and that's a project. There's a lot of digging to undertake every one of our utility poles and underground them in town. This is going from the train depot to La Boulange, and it's a significant improvement, and we're tying it in with the Danville Hotel. This includes Comcast, PG&E, AT&T, and then we're going to build bulb outs and decorative medians. We're going to re-landscape, and we're going to spend some money on railroad. We want railroad hearts in front to all be a pedestrian-friendly destination, and it's important that we tie those three streets together. Danville Hotel. Marsha Harmon, unfortunately, is at ground zero with her business. Like a lot of businesses, she's right there in the construction zone. My message to her and a lot of the other businesses is hang on, because when the Danville Hotel is completed in the probably end of summer next year, she'll be in an ideal location downtown. Hotel is going to be retail down below on all 4 streets with 16 condominiums on the 2nd floor. And that'll be a retail destination. That continuity of retail has been important to us over the years. Harts Avenue, beautification. This has been ongoing. We're working with PG&E right now. I think we're stalled at this moment right here. We're looking at the transformers with PG&E. They were going to relocate, and now they're talking about keeping them. And that area is an area, and I've mentioned it before. I had it on my planning commission application 15 years ago when the question was, what should we do downtown that we haven't done yet? And it was remodel the north end of town. We're here. We're here. We have the money. We're ready to go. We're just waiting for utility companies to get all the infrastructure done so we can continue with new medians, new landscaping. We've offered a lot of the businesses some business promotion funds to help with their facades, cleanup. We're trying to make the north end look like the middle part of Old Town, and that's important to us. Danville Hotel, I want to mention, is on schedule, by the way. It absolutely looks incredible. They're up to the 2nd story and a little bit above. The completion is probably fall of 2015 is what I'm guessing. They're only about a week either on schedule, a week behind schedule, or a week ahead of schedule. That's how close that schedule is. So they're right on target. And the goal is to have businesses move in fall of 2015. That is a realistic goal. That's going to be an incredible project that a lot of us in town are very, very proud of. We have a lot of new businesses in town. The myth is our businesses are struggling downtown. I got a phone call on the Danville d'Elegance, and I went to a number of businesses and I said, hey, do these street closures help you or hurt you? Here's my cell number. At the end of the day, if you could call me and let me know how your day went, I'd appreciate that. And I got 3 phone calls, one from Mona Mia across the street. And she said, actually, it was my biggest day ever. I thought it was going to be a flop, and it turned out to be my biggest day. Now, that's not the message straight across the board, but we're hearing that businesses are doing well, and if we're not doing something that we should be doing, we want to hear from our chamber and Discover Danville. We'll adjust. There's nothing hardly set in stone in this town that we can't have a conversation about. The new businesses, and I'll just go through a couple of them here. Actually, it's a pretty long list. We have Dutch's Boutique, the Iron Horse Chiropractic business, opened up on Railroad. Demi Rose Salon is on Rose Street. Performance Pilates is at the Danville Livery. Diablo Beauty Hair Salon opened at Sycamore Valley Road West. Francisco's Grooming opened in July on Camino Tasahara. BZ Asian Grill is at the Danville Livery. You gotta love this name. All Fur Love Dog and Pet Grooming opened on Sycamore Square. Castleite Block is doing very well downtown on Hearts. The Bloom Space is at the Vintage Store in Danville. Pelican Rock is at the end of the street here, a men's clothing store that I bought a sweater there the other day at. Uncle Wang's, you gotta try Uncle Wang's. It's a whole new ownership. She remodeled the whole inside of the building. Every piece of artwork in that restaurant is something she either created. The needle points on the wall are incredible. She has one that's 12 foot long that took her 3 years to create. The food is incredible. It's a good experience. My recommendation would be to try Uncle Wang. In November, the Craft Creamery opened up at the corner of Railroad and Linda Mesa. And then Mello's Pizza, this has been a family friend for a number of years. They started in Pleasant Hill. They're gonna be at the Pasta Gondola. And Mello's Pizza will be coming into town here. Very exciting. And then naturally, we have our go-to, we have Forge and, the places that are still go-to destinations for all of us. We have a new development application. It's an 8,000 square foot application behind Yo's and Basil Leaf. 2 4,000 square foot retail spaces. Because we're initiating improvements in downtown, this is kind of igniting people to come forward and say, maybe it's time to remodel our project as well. And we're sort of excited about that. This is where I'd love to have our recreational service director, Henry Peralonzo, come up and talk about this, but I know he's not prepared to do that. This is all the fun things we do in town, and this is the guy that creates them. I will tell you that in our activities guides, we have thousands of activities. I don't care if you're a preschooler, what do they call them? Tweens, teens, older teenagers, adults a lot of our age, older adults, seniors. We have activities for everybody. There's thousands of activities in that guide. If it's not in there, I'm surprised, because we have so many things that you could actually go to and be a part of. Moonlight movies this summer were held on the town green. First time last year we did it, very popular this year. We showed The Croods, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, Independence Day, The Goonies, and then we had Rio. Well attended. I mean, this is family events where you get to eat popcorn on the town green. It's very Americana, and you just gotta love it. The camps, ages 3 to 17, very, very popular with our kids in Danville youth. Little Peanut Storybook Camp, this was held at Hapnagee Ranch for the young kids. Osage Adventure Day, 5 to 7-year-old. I mean, we try to do activities for age groups, and parents love it. I loved it when my kids were involved in these things. Danville Day Junior Camp was held at Osage Park. Danville Day Camp this summer was held at Los Cerros. This is for a teenager. And these are all well-attended events. These are where kids actually get to interact with their friends, and parents are put their kids in a very safe environment. Destination junior camps were very popular this year. And then naturally we had the campouts at Oak Hill Park, very well attended once again. And then, we catered to our seniors as well. We had the Taste and Toast of Germany last night here. Many, many people attended. I don't know, 75, 80 people attended the event, all seniors. So there isn't an age group that we have missed here. But believe me, if there is something we haven't done or we need to do, tell us. We all answer our phone and we all listen. Naturally, bocce ball will always continue to be a wonderful event. We have 76 teams this year and a waiting list of about 76. I have to play on one of the leagues, and I can tell you that it is an incredible fun night where a bunch of people get together, and it's an hors d'oeuvre, conversational, play bocce ball sort of night, and it's wonderful. And we're going to have more of these. Every one of these programs are filled, and that's incredible. And it's thanks to Henry Peralonzo for all the good work that he's done. Henry, thank you. That's nicely done. Aquatics, recreational aquatics for young kids up to seniors, we're at the high school now. We're thrilled that our pool's open. Town contributed money to that, school district contributed money, good partnership, good collaboration. We're able to make it a community pool, and we're proud of the fact that, you know, it's not only built, completed, paid for, but it's well used. There's a whole list of things that we do in this town. There's a whole list of things that we do with our kids. And between the swimming, the activities, we have plenty of activities for all of our kids to do. And then when that doesn't take place, we believe in the arts. So naturally, the Village Art Theater is a go-to destination for a lot of our families. We had the Storybook Makers, which is May 1st through June 13th. On July 10th, the Art Gallery hosted a full house of budding artists for a young art class, a wonderfully well-attended event. What we believe in the town of Danville is that it's healthy to connect with others, either via arts, the creative aspect of, you know, we want to create an atmosphere that helps people become creative. The children clearly experience the feeling of pride and satisfaction upon creating their own thing, whatever that is. And then naturally, as parents, we support all of that. The Art of the Escape is at the Village Theater currently through the Sunday. Features art collections based on the theme of escape, derived two plays from Eugene O'Neill's The Iceman Cometh and Tennessee Williams' Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. The next exhibit will be The Landscape of the Memories, October 10th through December 13th. You know, and I'm hoping that each of you will at least take the time to visit at least one night. The Village Theater preschool performances, The Bubble Lady with 2 sold-out shows, and Octopretzel performed on August 8th. You know, these are things that, you know, maybe a lot of us don't have kids at that age anymore, but if you did, this was a go-to destination. We showed Sideways on August 21st in conjunction with Discover Danville Association's The Art and Wine Stroll. Music in the Park this year. I mean, did anybody attend Music in the Park? We had Beach Boy tribute, we had Neil Diamond. You know, there's 2,000 to 4,000 people. We had 4,000 people on the Village Green at the library for a Neil Diamond tribute. 2,000 to 4,000 people attend each one of these events, and they're incredible. Look at that. Those are all Danville residents and a few San Ramon folks. But we'll see Danville. You know, the events that we held in town this year start with the Danville Fine Arts Fair. You know, 20,000 people visited downtown. The 4th of July parade, 30. It's hard to put a number to it. 30,000 is the number I hold on to, but if I said 40, I'd be close. They come from all over, and if you've ever been downtown the night before the 4th of July parade and just walk or drive downtown to see all those chairs, it doesn't get any better to me. The first time I saw it, the hair on the back of my neck stood up because it was so powerful. It's absolutely incredible what the Kiwanis do in the town of Danville to put that 4th of July parade together. July and August, actually we have the Danville Thursday night street festivals. And by the way, I've talked to a lot of businesses. If we need to look at those events, you know, if we're not helping the downtown businesses, we need to talk about it. If we are, and I'm hearing both sides of the story, so it looks like there is some support for it, we'll allow it to stay and maintain it and support it. The other part of it is the Danville Car Show. Any of you have been to that car show? It goes from one end of Danville to the other, and you know, there's probably 15,000 people that attend that. You know, the street festivals, there's probably 6,000 people that attend each one of those. Some shop, some visit, you know, some go to stores and at least are aware of new stores. They may not make a purchase that day, but they'll come back and hopefully they'll come back and actually make a purchase. The August Art and Wine Stroll, there's 650 tickets that were sold. It was a sold-out event. September, the Heartland Antique and Art Fair, approximately 1,800 attendees. And then last weekend, actually, we had the Danville D'Elegance. Jim and Chris Edlin put together this event for Parkinson. They raised $375,000. They raised over $2 million over the last 10 years. It's their 10th anniversary. And what started off with about 20 people and about 20 cars it has grown into this event that it's nationally recognized. They're on the top 3 donor list for Team Fox, Michael J. Fox's Foundation for Parkinson. And they are in Danville, they put Danville on the map with Parkinson. The dinner at the Black Hawk Museum sold out. The ride up to Napa sold out. And then I don't know if you had a chance to see all those amazing cars downtown. It's incredible to see a McLaren and Ferraris and Lamborghinis. Actually, we had our pirate, this guy, I don't know if you guys ran into him. He's a magician, he juggles, he's very talented. He actually was able to pull a rabbit out of a little girl's ear. So he's a very talented guy. So I gotta tell you, this is probably the most fun I've had this year driving this McLaren, sitting in this McLaren. And that's not a very big seat to sit in. And there's a tailpipe there that burnt my pants, but it was still fun. You know, the upcoming events that we have, here is the Primo Run. That's expected to draw 800 runners. We're hoping to break, this event went away for a number of years, and then it came back. Forward Motion is putting it together. 800 runners, we're hoping for thousands of runners, but we're at 800. The Danville Fall Crafts Festival is expected to have 20,000 people attend. November 14th is Spirit of Danville. We don't have these we don't have these here, so I'll read these to you. The November 14th is the Spirit of Danville holiday event. That's an all-day event. We have the trolleys, the shopping rides, and the Chamber, Discover Danville work together on that. We have the tree lighting on the 29th, and then December, actually, we have the Danville Community Awards and Mayor's installation. So one of the things that we have on our horizon here is, well, let me finish up by saying, I think we've covered many, many events in this town that cover a lot of needs. If we're missing something, we'd love to hear it. And if not, I hope we continue to enjoy each one of these events because they're so important to this town. To be a successful community, not only is it important to balance your budget, but it's also important to have a park system, to have an art and craft sort of feel to the town. We want our downtown to look impressive. We want people to come downtown. We're a boutique shopping destination, and we want to emphasize that. And we're a family-oriented community. Town Council, in the future here, will look at banning the plastic bag in town. These are the ones with handles. We've had a number of meetings on this. It sort of fell into my category, is it good for the environment or is it not? And then we had that conversation from there. This council has been supportive of that. And then at this point, we're thrilled to be on this council. I work with 4 other individuals on this council and a staff that is extraordinarily supportive. And this council is very passionate. We're engaged. We want to make sure that we're making all the right decisions on behalf of the community. Where there's nobody on this council that has a personal agenda. Each and every decision we make encompasses the whole town and not a segment of the town, which I think is important when you're making a decision on behalf of a community. So at this point, I'll stop and if there's any questions, and then we'll talk to some of our partners in town. We'll have them speak. Tony.
Robert, on the Danville Hotel, and I should know this, and I don't. Was there any kind of criteria established on who the clients would be? And then the second question, can you share with us any clients that have made commitments, or is that?
Yeah. Gary Reale is the broker on this, and the conversations I've had with him, he certainly has recognized that we're just not going to fill this building. And as much as we'd like to get tenants in the spaces, they're looking at individual folks, and I haven't heard those names yet. I've heard a couple of them, but I was asked to keep it private because they're still working on negotiations. They're trying to complement the town and not hurt the current businesses that are here. And that's the message that I received from the Baldaccis and Gary Reale. And then, I'm sorry, the second question?
No, you answered it. I asked if anybody's committed. Good. If you could share.
Yeah, and we're excited that people will be able to live in downtown Danville again. We lived here in the 30s and 40s and 50s, and then they became businesses. Now we'll have condominiums. 16 people will live downtown. We have 3 or 4 across the street here next to that bar that are living downtown. So we're excited about that concept again, where we can actually live, work, you know, and play downtown, you know, enjoy the downtown businesses, restaurants. It's a wonderful environment to live in. We're all blessed to live in Danville, believe me. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Just open any questions, right?
Absolutely.
I live near downtown, and I end up walking around downtown a lot.
Good.
So I use the sidewalks a lot. And I really appreciate the fact that we have a lot of places that we can go in downtown and eat on the sidewalks.
Mhm.
And I'm just curious to know, there's certain areas where it seems like the tables and chairs tend to encroach on the sidewalk, specifically in that Trader Joe's over there, the Starbucks, and I'm not trying to be an old fart about this, but I just wondered, what are the ordinances or what are the rules with respect to having those kinds of things on sidewalk areas?
It's gotta be a food component. You can take 25% of whatever seating you have on the inside, and you could literally move that to the outside, and I believe anything above that requires a parking in lieu fee. You know, we've encouraged, and I've got to tell you, from my seat, I've encouraged the outdoor seating because that's what frankly brings people downtown. We want people to come downtown, you know, and I don't want to say that we're lax, because I've got the town manager and assistant town manager sitting to my right, and they probably don't want to hear that. But from the council standpoint, I think what we're looking at is being flexible in our thinking to allow businesses to have outdoor seating. So if they're encroaching, there's a line that they're not supposed to encroach over, and if it's a flagrant disregard, we should probably talk to them, but.
So it is incumbent upon the store to kind of police that on their own? Is that the way it works?
It's one of the first times I've heard this complaint, so my
Yeah,
short
it's
answer
not
would
really a
be
complaint,
yes,
it's
I
more
would
of
say.
a comment, because I don't want to, you know, like I say, I really appreciate the fact that we have a lot of places we can go, especially, I have a dog, so, you know, I like to be able to sit outside with my dog.
Yeah.
But there are times when, and I know it's generally the people, the patrons, you know, moving things around, I understand that, but a lot of the times it just.
Yeah. No, I know, and I'm actually thrilled that you are sitting outside, and, you know, if we're encroaching, we'll sort of work on that. I mean, you know, we have folks that do travel downtown. Joe Calabrigo, want to add something to this?
Well, I was gonna add that in some instances, if it's on private property, over at Danville Square, Iron Horse Plaza is another example. The town would regulate that at a broader scale through the development plan or the use permit that was approved for the center.
Mhm.
But in terms of managing those day-to-day activities, then those fall within the responsibility of the property manager and the owner of the center. Now, downtown, we also have that situation where we have outdoor seating that is placed out. It's supposed to be behind the sidewalks and outside of the public thoroughfare so that people can continue to move by. And I won't tell you that occasionally on weekends, those tables have a way of multiplying in the dark. And all of a sudden, there are more of them.
In a very
So,
good
you know,
way sometimes.
there's a balance that we try to maintain between wanting to be supportive of and promoting businesses, but making sure that we're not obscuring the flow of pedestrians and others who need to get through there. So our planning staff tries to look at that and regulate it, permit it, and keep track of it, and it's kind of a living, ongoing situation that we try to coordinate and manage. So if you see situations where those public thoroughfares or handicap access or anything like that is being obstructed, you know, shoot us an email on our CRM app on your mobile device, or send us a phone call, and we'll go out and take a look at it.
So if you haven't done so already, this is a nice segue to the Danville Connect app. Put it on your phone, you know, and if you see a problem, you take a picture. It prompts you very easily to take a picture. Even guys that aren't technologically advanced can do this pretty easily. And the GPS coordinates will tell our town staff where that picture was and where you were standing, and they'll respond to you. I did one the other day. I got a response back in less than 8 hours, and with a solution 2 hours after that. So it's a Danville app, Danville Connect, and it's you put it on your phone. So does everybody have that on their phone? June, I'll help you put yours on. Sorry, June. That slipped. And my wife just came in, so I'm not supposed to introduce her.
Just came in, Robert.
Okay,
She's been
Chief,
here a
maybe,
while,
She's been here a
Robert.
while, Robert.
Chief, maybe you can help me here? I think it's a good time to have you come up.
Fill you out.
Are there any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
On the hiding of the wires, does that just?
I'm sorry, say it again.
On the undergrounding of the wires, is that gonna be just a strip of Railroad Avenue? I live with my back right to downtown, and the cable lines go right into the back.
I'm sorry for the
So-
construction in that little area there, but.
Yeah, the 2 in the morning one was a treat. But
I'm guessing it really wasn't.
but like Sonora Avenue and the little, Front Street, how far out will that work go?
Yeah, we're talking about the undergrounding of railroad, we'll
Right.
go from Lob Lounge to the museum.
So it's just that little area?
In that area right there.
That's too bad.
Good. Any other questions? And I'll be around afterwards if anybody has a question. And once again, I appreciate each of you coming. Now we'll hear from our stakeholders and our partners in the community. Chief Myers probably want to introduce his new group.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Okay, thank you for having us. Great job, Mayor. Let me start by saying our relationship with Danville as the fire district means so much to us. In coming here and seeing all the communities, I always enjoy coming to the Danville Mayor's breakfast or coffee. And just the relationships that we've been able to build over the last several years is so valuable to us. So we really are honored to have this, and so welcoming your city manager or town manager. It's so great for us to have that. Let me just say a few things. We kind of are modeling ourselves to the best of our ability after Danville, in that all of our fiscal issues are taken care of as well. I'm here to report to you quite briefly. I won't go into great detail, but we've got a capital improvement plan. The way we're doing business is very similar. We save money to deal with the issues that we are faced with: fire engine purchases, station rehab, all that kind of stuff. So we actually put money aside to deal with those things. So we're really proud of that. Again, talking to Joe, it's been a very good relationship. I'd like to introduce my deputy chiefs, if I can have them come up for a minute. So it's kind of nice for me, and I'm gonna have them just say a few words about themselves, but it's kind of nice for me to have 2 new deputy chiefs. We went through a big transition over the last year, and we did a big reorganization, and I had to find second in command, because I didn't have anybody when I came in. I had no one, which was good for me, because I had to actually work really hard the first 18 months and learn a lot. But now that I actually have some assistants here, it's been great. So I'm gonna have them introduce themselves, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about them after they get done. So Derek?
Derek Kraus. I've been with the fire department for almost 23 years now, and a lot of you are familiar faces to me, either because I shop here in Danville, eat lunch, and I've done a lot of collaborating on some of these special events that the mayor talked about. So it's good to be here helping support that effort, and look forward to a lot of that in the future.
Lon Ferris, been with the fire district for about 24 years now. Proud resident of Danville for all the reasons the mayor spoke about. Public safety, both police and fire, parks and recreation, the
That
school
we have to be
district.
nice to on top of that.
Yes. I have a 5th grader that goes to Greenbrook and a 7th grader that goes to Charlotte Wood. Kids play sports at Osage, so wonderful community to live in and equally a wonderful community to serve. Thanks.
So that's my new 2 deputy chiefs. I would say this, one of the things that we didn't do over the last 18 months, and I apologize for this, we didn't have the opportunity to really focus in and show up to town council meetings and city council meetings. But now that we have 2 new deputy chiefs, we are actually assigning a deputy chief to each city or town to give you the attention that you really deserve and need. Let me just ask, who do you guess that I assigned to Danville? You're a Danville resident there, Lon Ferris. So Lon, I'm really proud to say, is going to be, you're going to see him, he's going to be a fixture at many of your meetings, be there to answer questions and and really be engaged. So I'm excited about that, and unfortunately, if we can turn the camera off, poor Derek has San Ramon. I'm kidding. But they're going to do a great job. You can sit down. I know they're uncomfortable already. I apologize. But
He's an overachiever. He may get to them.
yeah, someday, right, someday. But they, you know, I will tell you that it's been great to reorganize. As I said before, the district when I came in was, you know, was a little bit challenged. But the things that we've been able to accomplish and the reorganization that we put together has been great. We have what I would say less maybe chiefs and more Indians, which is always good because it's about the service out there to the community where the rubber meets the road. I would just like to also add for our chamber, we talked about it last time, I don't know if you remember, that procurement process. We are focused on making sure that we stay local with all the business needs that we have as a district with several stations and many needs. We make sure that we stay in the San Ramon Valley first. We've been very, very aggressive in that, and it's been very successful for us. I will also tell you that, and I'm going to kind of put Candace Anderson, our supervisor, on the spot a little bit. We do have some challenges at the county level in dealing with public safety, specifically emergency medical responses. It's been a challenge because I'm not only the chief, but I'm also the Contra Costa County Executive Chiefs President, so I've had to deal with some of the county issues. But I'm proud to say here, and I just want to make this clear, Candace has been such an advocate for us to protect this San Ramon Valley and make sure that your service levels stay high. And I can't thank her enough for that publicly. She really does care. She gets the issues, and that's what you need out, really at the front lines of what I'm dealing with. And it's been so valuable, so I thank you for that. And I assure you of this, you do not have to worry about the level of service in your community. That's the great thing. There may be challenges in other parts of the county, but here you're going to get the top level service. Our save rates are high. Our goal's 50% for our save rates right now. If you have a cardiac event, you're about 47+% gonna make it, which is pretty darn good. It's probably top 3 in the nation. And so if we can continue that, that's gonna be fantastic for us. If we get to 50%, you can't ask for anything better. I take it from me, I've been in this business a long time. So your public safety is intact, but you'll hear a lot of these things, but just know here we're safe, and thank you, Candace, for that. The last thing, real quick, I apologize for taking so much time. Matt Stamey, former board president, current board of directors for the fire district. I don't know if he wants to say anything, I can handle it, but he's also on the Pulse Point board. Has everybody heard about Pulse Point? So Pulse Point now is starting to get some traction. I don't know if you want to say anything about that, or if you'd like me to handle it.
Well, just a couple quick things. Pulse Point's now located in about 700 cities around the United States. For those that may not know, it's a smartphone application that will give you an indication that there's a cardiac event nearby if you're in a public area. So you as a citizen can respond and apply CPR before the first responders get there. So it's a life-saving event. The latest, greatest save was about an 8-month-old baby up in Kent, Washington that was saved through the process. Can't get better than that. We're gonna be on ABC World News next Tuesday, I believe. We're gonna be on the Doctor Show. We're gonna be on Dr. Oz. So we have a lot of traction. But this is a product that was developed by the San Ramon Valley Fire Protection District, nurtured here, and then moved to a nonprofit foundation so that we could take it nationwide without burdening our taxpayers, but delivering a life-saving app that's free. So if you don't have it, load it up.
Thank you, Director Stamey. That's a big deal for us. It's an innovation, and I think what you're going to see, a lot of our save rates in the community here and through the San Ramon Valley is because people get engaged. They actually do something. They act at that time, and that is a huge impact to our save rates. So we can't thank you enough for being engaged like that. I'll take any questions or I'll get out of your hair. I apologize about being wordy, but a lot of moving parts over the last 2 years.
Not a question, just a compliment for you guys. My father wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you about 4 years ago, the save rate. So he's here to testify that you guys are great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And with no disrespect, should have had our police chief go first. And not fire, but. You have any comments?
So, just a couple of quick things. I gave a presentation to council recently, and I'm happy to report that our traffic accidents in town are down significantly, probably the lowest point that we've seen that I can even find data for. And we're looking at probably about a 20% in that neighborhood reduction in traffic accidents, and that's not just a thank you to the police department. There's a number of moving parts there. We have our Street Smarts program, and plus our transportation folks work very hard at the engineering component, but together that's a very successful number, because I know all of us want safer streets, and that's something that's wonderful. On the flip side of that, I have to report that our crime rate is up just a tiny bit, but I want to put that into perspective. Over the last decade or so, we've had about a 20% decrease in crime, but this year it's going up incrementally, just about 2%. But again, that is certainly in context, that's still, we're doing very, very well. You know, I wish, much like the fire chief wishes, that we would have 0 traffic accidents, and I also wish that we would have 0 crime, but that's also impossible. We're just going to keep working together, and all of us to get those numbers down. Another thing I'd like to remind everybody is tomorrow we're hosting a drug take-back day with the Drug Enforcement Administration. Anybody out there that has any unwanted prescription medication, you can bring them to the front of the town offices between 10 and 2. We will have people there to accept those drugs, and I can tell you that prescription drugs and drug abuse in town, and Patty can help me on that one, is certainly a problem, and some of that unwanted medication that you may not have used anymore, just throw it in a Ziploc bag and bring it down. We'd be happy to take care of it. And although tomorrow is a special day for that, you can bring it to our lobby anytime you want. The hours are open. It's just tomorrow is a special day throughout the county to collect unwanted medication. So, and also I'll be sticking around to answer questions if there's anything that I can answer. But appreciate everyone's support. Thank you.
Good, Steve. Thank you for all that you do in this community. Candace Anderson, our supervisor, former mayor. It's somebody I enjoyed sitting next to.
Absolutely. It is always fun to be back in Danville and catch up on all of the projects, many of which I got to start out with over the 10 years I served on the town council. But as Chief Meyer alluded to, we are seeing some interesting discussions on the county level about emergency medical services. And as you might know, the majority of the county does not have a fire agency that transports the patients, that runs ambulances with their firefighters. In fact, the county contracts with AMR to do that for most of the rest of the county, with the exception of Moraga-Orinda, that also is a transport agency. So right now, next year, we're going out to bid for the ambulance contract for the rest of the county, and it's in preparation for that. A study was commissioned by a group called Fitch that was analyzing things like how quickly you need to respond. And that's been a very interesting controversy, because their report said after 4 minutes, up to about 14 minutes, doesn't really matter when you show up. And that's become a very controversial item of discussion, and whether you need to have basic life support or advanced life support responding. So I appreciate Chief Meyer's leadership with the other fire chiefs in really addressing this issue. They're the ones who have the expertise as we go out for the RFP, and also the great advice he provides as Contra Costa Fire, which I get to serve on the board of, as a board of supervisor, looks at whether or not they will bid on the ambulance contract and become a transport agency, much as San Ramon Valley Fire is. Other issues going on, land use decisions in the county affecting Danville. We've got 2 applications that are not yet complete. Both of them have been in the works for a very, very long time. One is the Tassajara Cemetery, and that draft EIR is not yet ready because they still have issues they've got to work through. And similarly, what used to be known as New Farm, now known as Tassajara Parks, that project is not yet complete, and I look forward to having the input of Danville once those projects do become ripe for discussion. It's been very important to me as a county supervisor, coming from the standpoint of being a former council member, of really making sure that county, when we move forward with projects, we listen to the adjacent communities. The example is in Moraga, a land developer came to me, said, I want to build this project, it's outside the town's boundaries, county can develop it, and my first question is, well, have you talked to Moraga first? Found out what they want to do. How would they like to see it develop, since they're the ones who will be providing most of the services? And that's really my philosophy, and with regard to any of these big projects coming forward. Other big issue that will be coming before the Board of Supervisors a week from Tuesday is something called Vora's Law. And this is a state provision that counties can adopt that allows severely mentally ill people to receive an assisted outpatient treatment. And what's unique about it is it allows family members to help their family member receive that treatment. And so that's something we will be looking at. And my office is just down the street on Diablo Road. And yesterday we had a little flood with the rain, but we're working through that. It wasn't that heavy rain, but the re-roofing project that was done all summer long didn't quite work. So anyway, but anytime you have a county issue, county question, just stop into my office. Either I or my very helpful staff would be very happy to answer your questions.
Ken, thank you very much. Maybe at this time, Gail, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, just briefly, legislative session ended at the end of August. The governor has a few more days left to sign bills or veto them. On a personal note, I'm sure you all know that Joan is termed out of the assembly. So the next time there's a mayor's meeting, there will be a new assembly member representing Danville. For me, it's been a treat and a pleasure to be here. And I just wanted to say thank you. So awesome.
We always appreciate your presence in the community. Patty, you want to say something on behalf of Discovery Counseling?
As I said, I work at Discovery Counseling Center. I am not a therapist, luckily. We have professionals doing that. But we provide much needed mental health support services in the community for families, for children. We are in the school district with our intern program. And as I said, I work with the community trying to reduce underage drinking and drug use that is seeming prevalence. And a lot of that involves changing the community norms around the idea of drinking and drug use, and maybe trying to make it not so acceptable for our youth. So that's what we do. Discovery Counseling is it's affordable, no one's ever turned away. So while Danville's a wonderful place to live, with it sometimes comes emotional issues, and if you ever have or know someone that needs help, Discovery Counseling's the place to go.
Great, thank you. Appreciate all that you do in the community. I love both of these ladies here. One's from Marsha Harmon from Discover Danville, and Shelby, who is our chamber president. I'm just going to put the microphone in the middle.
One of the things the Danville Area Chamber of Commerce is working on right now that really is exciting is we are developing councils. We've been working with our local nonprofits and meeting on a monthly basis to discuss the issues that nonprofits have in our community. We've had a past chairman's council that meets quarterly. The history of the chamber and the community is very important to us. Sometimes we have to look back before we look forward. But our big exciting one that we're starting, in fact it's this Wednesday, October 1st, is we're starting a retail council and inviting all of our retail members in Danville and also in Alamo and Blackhawk, which we also serve. And it's important. Retail's going through a transition right now. If you all aren't aware of it, there's a lot of big elephants in the room, including Amazon, and we're not seeing the pedestrians that we used to see. And the chamber is taking this on, and we're going to be an aggressive community and solve the retail problem. Someday we won't be on the doctors, but we can start something that's a nationwide trend. And that's the one thing about Danville is we don't sit back and say we're just a little town. We are the leaders in the nation. Top that.
Wow. Thank you.
No competition here.
Good stage.
We're all in this together.
Actually, we really are. Thank you for shopping local. To our fire chief, thank you for keeping our streets and our shops safe. Thank you for
dunking at the street festival to raise funds and help remind people that engagement is what makes our community so special. Continuing the Shop Local campaign, about a dozen of your downtown businesses who are struggling. It's very quiet. People aren't shopping by day. They seem to be shopping by night. So we started a campaign. It's a first Thursday, every first Thursday of the month, all day and into the night. We are offering shopping and dining specials. The theme for this coming week in October is Hops and Shops. So we'll also be featuring the new growler in town and some Oktoberfest spirit. But more importantly, it's an opportunity to get people out and thinking differently. Thank you to the town for the expanded light. There are new posts that have gone in through the town that have a new type of light that does have a little wider canopy of coverage. And the downtown merchants have been working with the town and the chamber to keep that campaign going forward so we all can stay open later and serve you at night too. The other fun event we have going on this week is Tinsel and Treasure. It's a folk art show. We've partnered with the Village Theater and Art Gallery to help jury 30 artists. It's inside this whole building. It's amazing how many people in town still haven't seen how fabulous this new building is. So we're hoping that that will bring 200 to 500 people into the downtown. We'll have a concierge booth and live entertainment set up outside so that we can create a buzz from farmers market to the downtown and then over to the Village Theater too. So it's another example of a Discover Danville event where we've tried to partner with multiple businesses and multiple town agencies working together. And thank you for the opportunity, Robert.
Nice, thank you, both of you, for doing all the wonderful good work you do in the town. June, you were my last speaker. Did you want to say something?
Go museum.
It's a surprise.
Mr. Mayor, you've done rather well today. I would like to remind you that every Tuesday morning, Toastmasters meets right across the street. Thank you.
Sure, that was a compliment. Is there any other questions? If not, we are adjourned.